माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदना ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे हरि ओम तत्सत् जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य स्तोत्र सत सृष्टि मध्य जुबंगे श्री भक्ति वेदांत सांस्कृपाद की जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य स्तोत्र सत सृष्टि मध्य श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगमाई यमुनमाई की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत भक्त बंधु की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय ताय गो प्रेमानंद हरि हरि वो all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Gopal ki jai Namo विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचार निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Canto 1, Creation, title, Chapter 1, Questions by the Sages, verse number 19 and 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. 1119. Vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame yasrunvatam rasagnanam swadu swadu pade pade. Vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame yasrunvatam rasagnanam swadu swadu pade pade. Vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame yasrunvatam rasagnanam swadu swadu pade pade. Word to word translation. 1118 we are reading from. Vayam we, tu, but, na, not, vitrapyama shall be at rest. Uttama Sloka, the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by transcendental prayers. Vikrame, adventures, earth, which, Srunvatam, by continuous hearing, Rasa, humor, Gnanam, those who are conversant with, Swadu, relishing, Swadu, palatable, Pade Pade, at every step. Translation by Janagesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Vijay. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. Repeat. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. Verse number 20. Both are connected, so that let me cover this also. We'll see how much we have to do part 2 in the next class. कृतवान् किल कर्माणि सह रामेण केशवः अतिमत्यानि भगवान् गूढकपटमानुषः. Because tomorrow is Balaram Jayanti, so that's why this verse also has to be spoken today in connection with the previous. कृतवान् किल कर्माणि सह रामेण केशवः अतिमत्यानि भगवान् गूढकपटमानुषः. कृतवान् किल कर्माणि सह रामेण केशव अतिमत्यानि भगवान् गूढकपटमानुषः. कृतवान्, done by, kila, what, karmani, acts, saha, along with, ramena, balarama, kesava, Sri Krishna, atimatyani, superhuman, bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, guda, masters, kapata, apparently, manusha, human being. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. Translation. Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balarama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts. We need to understand. Yeah. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you for joining. A little bit odd time. A temple program. Yesterday also temple service, and today also we have 4 to 5. I didn't realize, so I had to change again 3 to 4. But anyway, so here it is mentioned in this specific verse, Vayam tuna vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame. Important words are used here. Vitrapyama, uttama sloka, and then srunvatam and rasagdhanam, swadu swadu pade pade. So first one is tu, na and vitrapyama. Yeah. So in this vitrapyama, even though it is not divided, so this is my, some of them it just has to be realized. Not everything can be explained, because otherwise Prabhupada has to write 10-20 books for each book. So much volumes, so many angles of vision, as I mentioned before. So vitrapyama, here it is mentioned, shall be addressed. But if you look at in a different angle, first that can be, so basically the point, underlying point, it is mentioned already. We never tired of hearing, never tired. That is what vitrapyama. But if you look at the same word, divide that. We are reading from 1119, Canto 1, Chapter 119. First of all, recap the previous. So far 5 questions were being asked by Sonaka and other rishis. Setting is in Naimisharanya. Sonaka rishis are asking. Leader is Sonaka. That's why what is he being used? Sonaka Muni, Sonaka Rishi is not speaking by himself. He is not saying I am speaking. He is saying we. Vayam means we, means collectively, we all together. This is the way. Instead of saying my and mine or I and mine, we should always try to bring, even in our office context also. When we write in the emails also, we try to write, immediately comes I and mine. I am trying to do this or this. But we are trying to, or when we say we, then it is always beneficial that way. So Vayam tuna vitrapyam. So tu is used, but there is a significance to that. So never tired of hearing. That is what is never tired. That is vitrapyam. But if you look at V means Vishesha. Trupya. Trupya means it can be 3 different things. The same thing you can say Trupti, Trupyati, Trupyanti. If you Google it, you will not get it from Prabhupada. But this is based on my reading from Prabhupada books and various books. Prabhupada is mentioning this is satisfying the Supreme Lord and spiritual master. That is what it comes to, because we will go to that. And na means basically they are saying we are always, we are not satisfied. That's why na, trupyanti or trupti. Trupti in general we know it is Hindi word, even Telugu word also, it's the same thing, satisfaction. Trupyati also same thing. Trupyanti also same thing. More or less it's, I think it's a grammar thing. So V means Vishesha. So there is a special significance to it, because it is in connection with the Supreme Lord. Na means he is saying we are never satisfied. Means you can talk about it every day, every minute, but we are never tired of hearing. Just like Parikshit Maharaj is saying to Sukadeva Goswami, please continue, explain more and more, bring on, talk, please explain more and more transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord, whether it's creation or various different rasas of pastimes at all levels, because Krishna is not alone. Krishna always with his incarnations and so many pastimes, his energies, everything together. So that's why it is now we have to look at all those angles. So that's why here saying na vitrapyam. They are not never satisfied. Always want to hear more and more again. Then tu is used. We are not satisfied. So please speak on. they are speaking, Saunaka Rishi is speaking to Sukadeva Goswami. So the previous questions, what they asked before this, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. First they asked, what is the essence of all this, what is the ultimate good for the people in general. First thing they asked is Bhagavad Dharma, which is Krishna consciousness. Bhagavad Dharma is means engaging in the Supreme Lord service. That is Bhagavad Dharma. That is the first question. Then they ask second question, what is the essence of all scriptures? Which is nothing but a holy name. In briefly, there is a detailed explanation is coming in the next chapter, just to the context and understand what it means for that question. And then the third question, after they asking about the holy name, then they went on. They said, can you explain what is why Krishna appeared in the womb of Mother Devaki and Vasudeva? That is asking about the form. So there is a systematic sequence. They are not directly jumping here. Tell me about Krishna's feet, Krishna's form, Krishna's beauty. They are not asking that. But they are asked step by step. They are going. So the process, Nama, Rupa, like that. And then they asked fourth and fifth, please explain the pastimes of Supreme Lord, Leela Avataras, different various incarnations. Then they specifically asked about the material creation, maintenance, destruction. The Purusha Avataras, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, and then Purusha Avatar. So that was the fifth question. Now the sixth question hasn't come, but after asking about this Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, then they are saying about the Leelas, because it is unending, and they are saying, oh, you have spoken enough. No, and that means this is just the beginning. So they are asking Saunaka Muni and others, many sages, many of his colleagues, asking Suta Goswami, his spiritual master. So that means they already heard some other topics from before, from others or from him also. So, but here the specific context is Srimad Bhagavatam. Any transcendental, they could have heard Purana or any other things. But this, especially Upanishads or Vedas, so many things are there. So Srimad Bhagavatam, especially they are saying, please speak on, continue more and more. So and then two, why it is used? They are tired of hearing all the material things. They are tired. They don't want to hear that. Two, that's why. But so because if you look at just first line, if we don't use two, then it becomes we are not satisfied with what. So that's why again second context is there, but still that two means it's because most of the living entities we are satisfied with the material things, not in connection with Krishna. So that's why that two is used. Then Uttama. So now Vitrapyama, we will go a little bit detail. So I mentioned Vishesha satisfaction, Vishesha Trupti, Vitrapyama, Vishesha Trupyanti, satisfying. So if you look at it, then Prabhupada explains from Canto, I think later on, what is it? Reference. Yeah, 4th Canto, 31 chapter. Yata tarora moola nishechanena skanda bhujo shaka yatendriyanam pranopaharat yatendriyanam sarvahanam atchidejya. There is Prabhupada, that verse Krishna is mentioning. Trupyanti is there. Yata taroru moola. Taroru means tree. Moola means root of the tree. Yata taroru moola nishechanena. Serving, by pouring. Nishechanena. Skanda bhujopasaka. If you pour the water in the root of the tree, skanda bhujopasaka, that means all the branches, twigs, leaves, everyone will get nourishment. Skanda bhujopasaka. Same way, yatendriya, pranopaharat yatendriyana. When we are hungry, we are not putting food through ear or nose or any other senses. Through the tongue, it has to go to stomach, belly. Then only it can give the nourishment. That's what it means. Pranopaharam yatendriya. All the senses get nourishment, enlightenment. Or at least here in this case, in the specific direct meaning is we will get the nourishment, we will get energy, strength, material strength. Pranopaharat yatendriyanam sarvahanam achyutejya. Sarvahanam means we are serving all the Lord's Achyuta. Ijja means worship. Achyuta means infallible Lord. Whatever position Lord takes is never falls down from his position. He is always Supreme Lord. Whether Yashoda is binding Krishna with rope, or whether whatever activity he is doing, whether he is carrying paduka, whether he is serving devotees, whatever the Lord does, his position is always Supreme Lord. So there is no this thing. position down, going down for him. He is always spiritual. So that's why it is mentioned Achyuteja, infallible Lord, worshipping infallible Lord, Pranapara, Sarvahanam, automatically all is part. That means demigods, his incarnation, everybody is satisfied. Everyone, all the living entity is satisfied. But generally in material world, we try to satisfy all others. We try, so that's why this example is used. Tree, and with branches and twigs. If you try to pour water anywhere without pouring root, it is going to die. Tree is going to die. Plant is going to die. Same way, if you try to put the food through any other means instead of not going through stomach, then body won't stay. So body also will die. So body cannot stay. It will not get the energy through all the senses, body muscles, and ultimately to the heart. So that's it is important. Now, if we go deep on this, Vitrapyama, it is mentioned, the tired of hearing about the Katha. So, in connection with that, Uttama Sloka Vikrama, it is mentioned. So, what we have to do is just like if you look at the plant and the tree, and when we are pouring the water, there are roots. There is a main root at the bottom, which we cannot see. Just like we cannot see the root most of the times. And then there are subsidiary roots also. The main root and subsidiary roots. So the main root is Krishna, or sometimes it is also mentioned as a trunk. Main trunk is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, like that. And then there are branches or subsidiary roots. In that there it is mentioned trunk and branches. But in this context, it is more of a roots and subsidiary roots. So the main root is Krishna, and all the subsidiary roots is Lord Krishna's incarnation, Balaram, and so many incarnations of innumerable. Whole Vaikuntha planet is innumerable incarnations, Swamsa. In that Swamsa also means own. Swamsa also there is a Vaibhav Prakash and Swayam Prakash, Prabhav Prakash and Vaibhav Prakash in different ways. His own expansions and Balaram's expansions. So in this ways, again, Tadeka, much more detail that goes in Chaitanya. It is too much deep. We don't need to go in that detail, but at least we understand that there are many incarnations of the Lord. So in that way, so the roots, main root, subsidiary, all the roots gets nourishment. Now the roots also mean attachment. Roots also mean, if you go back to Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, it is mentioned, Urdha Moolam Adasyaka Aswadam Prahuravayam Chandam Sesya Parnanam Yastam Veda Savedavid. It is compared with Aswadha tree, which has so many branches, huge tree, and so many roots. So in that, the material world is compared with that. 15th chapter, Purushottam Prapti Yoga, verse number 1. Very important chapter. So in that it is compared, the roots and subsidiary. There it is called as attachment. Because roots is attached. Because if the roots are not going in deep, then a tree can fall down. So the roots are also attachments. The main root and other roots, subsidiary roots also, different, various attachments. Now these roots, these attachment has to be in connection with Krishna, as it is mentioned here. Vayam tu na vitrapyama. If we are not satisfying the Supreme Lord or his incarnations or his Sevaka Bhagavan, his servant God, like the spiritual master is servant God, is a representative of the Supreme Lord, is coming out as a super soul, as a Paramatma, Supreme Lord, it's expansion, Kshirodha is coming out as spiritual master, and Lord Balaram is the Adi Guru, he is the representative of all these spiritual masters whom we serve. They are all getting the strength and energy and the enlightenment, everything coming from Lord Balaram. That will go in detail in the second verse. We will understand from Prabhupada's what he mentioned. So in this way, we understand the roots, the attachment must be various types of attachments must be dovetailed to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The main root and various roots. Various attachment we may have. We all have in this material world so many attachments with our material resources, so with our family members and so many. All good. But as long as it is in connection with Krishna. In connection with Krishna. We have to see everything in connection, in relation with Krishna. Otherwise, that attachment causes the fear, distress, frustration, anger, everything. All other 6 anarthas which will come from it. Because of the not looking at that, we are not attached in relation with Krishna. That's why. If it is in relation, when we serve through Krishna, then automatically it gives pleasure. It enhances our relationships. That is what we have done. So in this way, so we understand. That's why they are saying here, we are not interested too, but we are not interested in these material attachment. We are interested in attached to the hearing of the Supreme Lord pastimes. So that's why yatha tarolamo tupyanti, that trupyanti, satisfying. Always be satisfied in whatever we have. Just like tree is satisfied, heat or cold, whatever, doesn't matter. So it is satisfied always. It doesn't respond, even whatever we do. So we should be satisfied, grateful, grateful with whatever Krishna has given. Don't compare with others, other living entities, what they have, what I don't have. With whatever we have, we should be satisfied. Now, when we generally here, it maybe in US a little bit difficult, but in India, generally we used to do that in childhood. When we have a tree, in order to hold the water, when you are pouring water, what will happen? The water can go dispersed. So it can distribute it. The tree is only, if it is a big tree, maybe a huge place, it will occupy all the roots. But if it is a smaller tree, then only the space, the roots is only a little bit. But when you put water, it pours a lot of water, then it can grow. It won't stand there. But if you want it to be held within that periphery, for it to only consume, not any other plant. If you have some other plant nearby, they can grab it, water. Then the actual plant doesn't get. The weeds will get. So then, what we used to maintain create a bank, create 4 walls around or square, whatever shape. So around that near the tree, so that when you pour the water, it stays at least for a few hours. So the tree, the roots, all the roots gets its all the energy of that water. So what that means is, first of all, that watering itself is Sravanam and Kirtanam. As you are pouring with that holy name, and that also that bond, that protection, the periphery which we are covering with mud or bricks or whatever, we cover the tree. Here also in some place it is done, but most of the places it is not in the US, because we don't have much place, and we are not accustomed to do that nice gardening work. In India, this is pretty common, at least in olden days. So that means that periphery, the protection to hold that water, that means our hearing, our chanting, to enhance, it must be heard in an association of devotees. That periphery is nothing but association of devotees. We must always, in the association of devotees, we should hear. We can read self-study, but we should, at the same time, we should always hear. And we should always also, before and after the class, especially before the class, there should be chanting of the holy name, in order for it to hold, because otherwise, and after also, and we have to pay attention, rapt attention. So when you are hearing, so that ultimately it has to go in, sink in, whatever we are hearing. So basically, as you are putting water, then through water is going, the holy name, that is what holy name, chanting and hearing, is going in through ear holes, it has to touch to the heart. So touch to the heart. So that way, same way, so that's why this protection is created, so that the all this periphery is nothing but the protection of the association of devotees who have developed attachment to Krishna. So in that association, when we develop, automatically we are also inspired, enthusiastic to hear and to serve devotees and the Supreme Lord. So in this way, our energy levels is always going up. It never goes down, no matter what difficulty, what external circumstance or situation, like a tree. Tree also goes through thunderstorms, everything, but it doesn't get hurt. If it is too much force, then it may fall down. That's a different story. But the stronger trees, it doesn't. They don't fall down. They withstand. So the same way, so we have to also withstand with the strength by this periphery of the association of devotees, by serving them. And so that is the main topic here. Supports, nourishment, and giving pleasure. So that is what here trupyanti, trupyati. So vayam tu na vitrapyama uttama sloka vikrame. So uttama sloka means Lord is glorified with choicest words, choicest verses. So many verses we have throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Uttama sloka also means, because uttama is used here, udgata tamam iti uttama. That means moving from darkness, ignorance to the light, transcendence, enlightenment. That is what Uttama means. Because it is, they are talking about the transcendence. They want to move. Currently, they are not so much attached to rules and regulations because they are engaged in sacrifice here, 1,000 year sacrifice. They are performing Sonukanda, other. So they want to come, enlighten, get enlightened, and transcend from this gradually from one level of stage of bhakti, ultimately come to the Krishna prema, highest stage. Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangho, Tata Bhajana Kriya. Like this, surrender to a spiritual master, associating with devotees with faith. Initially we have faith, we come to temple or we try to read Bhagavad Gita, and then slowly we associate with devotees, then we surrender to spiritual master at some point of time. Then Ananda Nivurti then goes to Nishtha and Ruchi and Asakti and Bhava, and Krishna Prema is the highest stage. In this way, various stages are there. So that's what it means. The Uttama Sloka means one who is always glorified with choicest verses. As we see that Balaram is glorified always. It is mentioned one who is hearing. Maybe we will discuss that in the next. So Uttama Sloka Vikrame, very magnificent activities. Vikrama means not ordinary activities, because the Lord has lifted so many things. Lord has done, just like Banasur. Lord Krishna killed Banasur. Banasur is coming in the family of Bali Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj's son, Virojana's son Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj has many sons. So one of them is Banasur also. So Banasur was given a big boon from Lord Shiva because he was used to dance while Lord Shiva was playing. Then he was satisfied. He pleased Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva has given boon. Nagastra also something was given. Has been given almost like nobody can fight with him. Nobody has strength. One time, then he was very impatient. He was puffed up. Banasur. He told Lord Shiva, apart from you, nobody in this world, nobody can I can fight with. There is no, no person. I'm frustrated. I'm not able to fight. This is Banasur. Banasur saying to Lord Shiva, because we are discussing about the Vikrama, the great magnificent activities. What is the translation? Prabhupada is translated Vikrama. Adventures. Adventurous activities. Always, obviously, so many demons Krishna killed. We'll discuss that maybe one Dhenukasur in context of Lord Balaram. So the here Banasur, after saying that, then Lord Shiva immediately thought, you are about to get your false ego cut pretty soon. So that's when Lord Krishna, their Banasur's son, Banasur's daughter Usha. So Usha used to start getting dreams because she is young, she is not married yet. Then she was thinking about Aniruddha, which is Lord Krishna's grandson. Then he fell in love with him, and then finally, so then by his associates, queens, the Usha's associate, one of them has a mystic power. Somehow by her power, then Aniruddha comes there, and then they are ready to get married basically. Then I understand somebody passes this news to Banasur. Banasur becomes so much, because Aniruddha is living, nobody knows, nobody can enter into the inner quarters of queen. But here Aniruddha was able to enter. So immediately Banasur gets very angry and immediately start waging a war against Yadu dynasty. Then Krishna and Lord Krishna and Balaram comes with their Satyaki and many of the Yadus, all of them comes. Then where Lord Krishna fought with so even Lord Shiva, because he is a disciple of Lord Shiva, then Lord Shiva's associate also came. Kartikeya is a commander. He also came. So that time Lord Krishna was fighting with Pradyumna is fighting with Kartikeya. Pradyumna also almost as good as Lord Krishna. And nobody could stand in front of him. Pradyumna was fighting in so well, then Kartikeya has to run back, even though he is commander in chief. Then Lord Krishna fought with Banasur. He killed all his, I think not killed, means, he has 100 heads or something, Banasur. So he almost, he killed many of his heads, except only 4 hands and 1 head remaining. Then Balaram also fought with other Banasur, so much army is there. And then in between, Banasur's mother came. See, the demon and followers of the demon. So she came and she became naked. Just because, so that Krishna will, he will get some time and Banasur can run away or something. So then that's what happened. Banasur left from that place because he was almost losing. He is going to be about to get killed. But obviously Krishna didn't want to kill. Then he tells Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva comes in that actually. So before that, actually, when Banasur is about to lose, then Lord Shiva also, Lord Shiva or his associate, yeah, Shiva, his associate Shivadvara is being released. Then Lord Krishna, there is mentioned Vishnu Dvara was released. Then Shivadvara was pacified. Then Shivadvara offered obeisances and then offered the prayers to Vishnu Dvara there, and then glorifying Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. And then after that, then the mother came and then Banasur left from that place immediately to bring back with force, basically. So then Krishna told them at that point of time to Lord Shiva. So obviously he's coming in the family of Prahlad Maharaj. So I will not kill him because I have already given a promise. So then he left him with one head and four hands. 2 hands or 4 hands he left him with. He killed almost basically with his sword or his Sudarshan Chakra. All his other heads were basically cut hands and were cut. So many hands, so many heads he had. And then Balaram was fighting with all his others. So much army. Satiki was fighting with others. So Banasur has a huge army. He is not ordinary king. As a demon king, obviously. So in this way, we can see there is an extraordinary fight. This was ultimately Krishna be able to bring his false ego down and to bring him to real position. What is his real position? Who is the Supreme Lord? What is his material strength compared to the spiritual strength of the Supreme Lord? So then he understood. Then he offered his prayers. And then he allowed, then the marriage happened between Usha and Aniruddha, Parinay. That is in Canto 10, Canto 10 Krishna book, it is there, and Canto 10 Srimad Bhagavatam, also this one. In this way, so many are there. We cannot discuss because of the interest of time. Uttama Sloka Vikrama. Then Srunotam Rasagnanam Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. So, because they are mentioning, because this is a transcendental subject matter, as we move up from in beginning, especially after the initiation, we will get more and more energy and enthusiasm and inspiration because of Guru's mercy. As long as we follow Guru's instruction, then we will get even more and more energy. As we chant itself before initiation, also we get enlightenment energy. As long as we are in the association of devotees who are associated and advanced and enthusiastic in serving the Lord and Guru, and also we are doing some service. We should try to do some service because that service brings advancement. That service take out all the, because it clears out all the dust accumulated for many lifetimes. So that's why it is very helpful to do service, at least one service, whatever, physical service, because all the attachments with this gross body and the mental, all this subtle body, all of them have so many attachments. All those can cleared, washed away. So that is what the service brings. Service to the devotees, service to the Supreme Lord. So as we move up from Ananda Nivurti and Nishtha and Ruchi, then we start developing taste, as they are mentioning here, Rasa Gnana. Rasa means you will develop taste, so much taste in chanting the holy name, and so much taste in hearing, so much taste in reading, and so many new thoughts is coming. If you go for walking, I am getting lately so much during my walking with chanting in the morning, as Prabhupada does morning walk. That time itself, I am getting many thoughts by mercy of Guru and Lord Nityananda Prabhu. So it is very important to focus and to reflect on the Lord and spiritual master and the Lord Nityananda Prabhu. As we chant, as we read and hear, then they can give the thoughts. As we look at whatever creation we look at, whether we look at trees, everything gives so many other thought process, connections and examples with each and every verse. So in this way, so we understand this verse. Much more can be said, but we will move on to the verse number 20. So verse number 20 is connection with Balaram, because this verse previous 19, as they are mentioning, Who's giving this enlightenment and knowledge? So that knowledge, especially the strength, who's giving the spiritual strength? They are getting the rasa gnana. That is given by Lord Balaram. So that's what they are mentioning Lord Balaram before. Krutavan kila karmani saharamena kesava atimatyani bhagavan guda kavta manusha. So it is mentioned. So also the Trupyanti I forgot. So Trupyanti also is mentioned. Prabhupada mentions. Generally, we are in this material world, we are trying to get happiness through so many different angles, so many using for our own pleasure. It is mentioned. There is one verse from Canto 7. Trupyanti neha krupana bahu dukka bhajam pandu itivan manusujam visaheta dira. One who is sober, visaheta, means one who is sober, he will try to worship the Supreme Lord. One who is sober. He will not be agitated. He will not be getting he will be tolerating the itching sensation. Visaheta means that's what. So because before it is mentioned Trupyanti, Neha. So Krupana means miser, means weak. As Bhagavad Gita Arjuna is saying. What is it? Karpanya dosha. That Karpanya, Krupana, same thing. Krupana, one who is weakness in the heart, then Bahudukka Bhajam, because the material anxiety is material enjoyment. So we are trying to get material pleasure, only flickering. It's not a permanent happiness, but we are thinking that is what is getting. It is like an itching sensation. Once you start itching, then you keep on itching. It seems temporary pleasure, but then we keep on itching, then it becomes wound later on. So in that way, then one who is sober, he will tolerate those itching sensation, like trying to grab onto the objects, various sense objects, in relation with our own. Not with Supreme Law. In relation with Supreme Law, it's very good because it gives great pleasure. Our attachment to the material things will become transformed into spiritual attachment to Krishna. And so that is a very important. That is dovetailing. That is called anukulyasa sankalpa. Anasaktasya vishyan. Yeah, anasaktasya vishyan yatarham upayanjita. That Rupa Goswami is saying. Krishna consciousness means not renouncing anything. Actually, transferring that everything in Krishna service. That is actually anasaktasya. Asakti has to be transferred to Krishna, then automatically everything becomes fruitful. Everything can be used in Krishna service. So that is what here Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Because by serving Supreme Lord, by tolerating our itches, tolerating our difficulties, tolerating our COVID situation, whatever situation, these things will do come up in material world. One who is tolerating and using whatever he has, be satisfied with whatever he got and serving Krishna, then automatically your will be actually advancing in Krishna consciousness. We'll get enlightenment, we'll get enthusiasm, and automatically determined. If you can tolerate it, that is the first instruction even anyway in Bhagavad Gita also. Matra sparsast kaunteya, first instruction. So that tolerating and being patient is very important in our life, material life, and also spiritual life is also much more important, because sometimes we may get impatient. Oh, why this problem came? I am chanting 10 years, 20 years, I am following, but Krishna has not given this mercy, or somehow it didn't, this process doesn't work. Then we take it, we try to use in that our own way that we are coming. Then also is giving that kind of ignorance. That's why we need Lord Balaram. So that is the previous verse. Now coming back to this verse. Kritavan kila karmani saha ramena kesava. Saha ramena atimatyan bhagavan guda kapta manusha. So saha ramena kesava. So Rama means Balaram. Kesava means ka, isha and va. Kesava has many meanings. Rama means Balaram. So Kesava means ka is Brahma. Isha, Lord Shiva, Va, Lord Vishnu. So when you are putting the tilak, the two lines on both sides is one is Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, in between is Lord Vishnu. That should be empty space. There shouldn't be anything in the tilak, especially in Brahma, Madhva, Gaudisam, that's what it represents. So Keshava in that way. Lord Vishnu resides in between this space, between the two lines. Bottom is your lotus feet where we are offering Tulsi leaves. That's why this is Tulsi represents. We are servant of Tulsi Maharaj, servant of devotee, servant of the Supreme Lord. So that's why it is a constant reminder to us that I am servant of the devotees of the Supreme Lord. So I am not the master. So that is the meaning. So now it is mentioned here, Ramena Kesava. And I think another point here it is mentioned that human, he acted like an ordinary human being, like just like we act. So Lord played in that role. So now Lord Rama, as we understand, and first of all why should we worship Lord Balaram? It is mentioned in the Mundaka Upanishad and in other places. Nayam Atma Balahinena. Nayam Atma Balahinena. Yeah, that means Bala means strength, Hina means he will not be able to, he will be weak, materially weak and spiritually also weak. If he doesn't, especially spiritually, he will be weak if he doesn't have the actual spiritual strength coming from Lord Balaram. So, Nayam Atma Balahinena. So that's it is very important to get the strength from Lord Balaram. That he is the one. It is mentioned. Krishna brings, Lord Krishna gives with the sword, with the sword of knowledge, he cuts all the ignorance with knowledge. And then Lord Balaram gives strength. Lord Krishna removes the ignorance and gives the knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and Lord Balaram gives spiritual strength. So that we need. So Lord Krishna and Balaram in that way. So it is yeah. So that is what here it is mentioned. So and Lord Balaram also it is mentioned in the definition or the verse from the Vedas Puranas. It is mentioned as what is it? Iti Rama Padenaso Param Brahma Vidite Ramante Yogno Anante Satyananda Chidatma Iti Rama Padenaso Param Brahma Vidite. Always the yogis and all the yogis and the devotees are meditating unlimited pleasure by serving, by offering their obeisances, worshipping this Lord Balaram, Lord Ram, Lord Parshuram. That way Rama can mean anything. So sometimes devotees argue. Then Prabhupada told them, don't argue. Lord Rama means somebody who is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama means Lord Balaram, Lord Rama, it's alright either way. So Lord Parashurama. Or it can also mean Radhika Raman. So it can be any of them. There is no problem in thinking in that way. So here, in that verse it is meant Ramante Yoguno Ananta Satyananda Chidatmane. Chit Atmane. Because Lord Rama is same, non-different from Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So he has full potency. But he is always trying to serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Balaram. So I just heard from my spiritual master. So he mentioned in one of the class in Pune, he is giving Sunday peace class, that he mentioned that one time Prabhupada while traveling to Mayapur, my Guru Maharaj was there, then he mentioned, Prabhupada mentioned that you can say who is strongest, Krishna or Balaram? Then everybody said Balaram. Then Prabhupada said no, Krishna is strongest. Because you will see Balaram is always putting his hand on Krishna and standing. So then who is strongest? He is leaning on to Krishna and then Balaram is always trying to serve Krishna. Since say Prabhupada, but otherwise there is no difference. Both are Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only color is the change. Balaram is in white in complexion, Krishna is in black in complexion, blackish blue. So in that way, so always anything Prabhupada mentioning is very interesting and everything transcendental. Now the Balaram has performed so many innumerable pastimes. Here it is mentioned how he acted. So the whole this one pastime we will hear and then we will stop because not much time is there. Only 11 minutes. I have to run to temple. So Balaram has killed many demons. One demon we take one pastime, Dhenukasur. So before that I will also mention. It is also called Balaram Jayanti tomorrow, fasting till noon. You can fast with Ekadasi items. If you can fast without water, that's good. If not, just find water, fruits, nuts, whatever you can take Ekadasi. But after that, you can take Nana Ekadasi after 12. And asking, praying to Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda Prabhu for spiritual strength, for spiritual progress, removing all the difficulties. And it is also called Rakhsha Bandan. Rakhi also mentioned, but Raksha Bandan is the main name. Rakhi is it is transformed later on. That Rakhi also Raksha Bandan signifies one time during when the Lord was killing Shishupal, he released his Sudarshan Chakra. So that time when he released Sudarshan Chakra, transcendental cut his finger got transcendental cut, little bit. Blood started coming out. Then Draupadi is being nearby. She immediately ran to Krishna and she tore her sari piece little bit and then immediately tied Krishna's finger. Then Krishna was very much pleased by this action. So as the sister is trying with the Rakhsha Bandhan protecting Krishna, it's all transcendental. Who can protect Krishna? But Krishna brings these pastimes. So that's how one way to look at Raksha Bandhan actually started from there. How Draupadi tied this sari thread, sari piece to Krishna's finger. It is not a Rakhi, but it is in that sense Raksha Bandhan. That's how it started. This is one way of looking at it. There could be many other ways. I haven't read the significance of Raksha Bandhan. It could be many other things also from Puranas. But this is why I just want to bring it up in the context because we are in that same Rakhi Purnima, Raksha Bandhan. Now the Balaram's Dhenukasur. Dhenukasur, beautiful pastime actually. So many lessons we can learn from the beginning of the chapter. Not jumping directly to the killing of the demon. From the beginning itself, as they walk in, Lord Krishna and Balaram and all his associates, they all go, Sridham, Sudham, Stokam Krishna and many others, Subal. So they are all walking in, and where it is explained that Lord Krishna is explaining, it is explained that all these five senses, it is compared with five senses, the whole forest in Vrindavan, before that they are saying, the cowherd boys, especially Subal, I think Sridham or Subal, one of them, the close associate, then he is mentioning to Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram, let's go to this forest, Talavan forest. Prabhupada named wonderful names, Prabhupada gives. New Vrindavan, New Mayapur, we have New Talavan, in New Orleans. So wonderful names. So same thing with Talavan. Talavan is the forest in part of the Vrindavan. So one time there is in the Talavan forest, there is a palm trees. Palm trees, palm trees are wonderful fruits. Tall fruit, it is called tall fruit. So the tall fruit is very sweet and it has a fragrance. It goes miles of fragrance. It gives a lot of fragrance in distance. So then that's what they mentioned. Subal and Sridham, they told Krishna, see, we haven't gone. Everybody is looking. All the animals, birds, nobody can go to that place. There's one demon who is not allowing anybody to go there. So wonderful, nice, sweet fruits, nice forest. But we are not able to go, and nobody could able to go. Neither animal nor birds, nobody could go because of this demon. Can we go? So just to create the pastimes, Prabhupada mentioned, they are not desiring to enjoy these fruits for themselves. No, they are not so much in that desiring to please their own. Rather, they are trying to bring the interesting pastime, bring that pastime from Krishna and Balaram, because as they just got down with this Aghasur demon, killing of Aghasur, then they are very much interested in this playful thing, so they want to see. And that time only, actually 6 to 10 years, Krishna and Balaram, they have been given the to cow herding, actual cows, not the calves. Till that point, they were only given the calves. They cannot take care of the cows yet. So at this time, before the Aghasur demon, this Dhenukasur demon was killed, so they have been given the charge of cow herding. Then they started going, and then they chose to go in this Talavan forest because so as they are growing, the forest is being described wonderfully. Forest. It is mentioned that all the bees and the animals are making nice, beautiful humming sound. It is giving pleasure to the ears of the Supreme Lord. See that all the living entities in that forest, so beautiful. All of living entities in the forest are trying to please Krishna's senses one by one, especially these Jnanendriyas, because the ears, the eyes, the nose, the tongue, and the skin touch. These 5 main Jnanendriyas, knowledge senses, knowledge acquiring senses. So how is mentioned, the forest, all these various living entities please Krishna's senses. No? The first one is the bees, birds, animals, by through their sound. Nice sound they used to. So they used to please the Krishna's ears. This is Prabhupada is quoting Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, mentioning as they are walking, as soon as they are entering, Krishna and Balaram could see. Krishna was so much pleased. And then the wind started blowing very nice, cold, nice, not too cold, not too hot, nice cold breeze. We also feel sometimes day becomes very nice. That cold breeze and lake is there nearby. So a nice breeze, and then that is giving the pleasure to his skin. The touch sensation. Earlier was sound, the ears pleasing. The next one is the heavenly beauty, the most beautiful. All the fruits, flowers, the forest is filled with so many wonderful things. It's almost like heavenly planets. So because Vrindavan is almost Bhauma Vrindavan, more than heavenly, but just for us to know heaven, we know everybody knows about the heaven. So that's the comparison is given like a heavenly beauty, and it is giving pleasure to Lord Krishna's eyes. Then it is mentioned the sweetness of the wind from the lake and the fragrance coming from these various fruits and flowers. It is giving also increasing taste, giving pleasure to the taste, the tongue. In this way, the whole forest, all living entities in Vrindavan. This is the significance of Vrindavan, or any holy place, especially Vrindavan is the highest. In Shantaras, all these various, especially the trees, plants, what rasa they are in Shantaras. In neutrality, they are serving Krishna. They are all bending down. Krishna, what Krishna is saying, as they are walking, Krishna is telling Balaram, Balaram, look, what's happening? See, all the trees, they are going down to you. They are coming down all the way with their fruits and flowers. They are offering their obeisances to you. Then bees started following. The bees humming. But Balaram was not agitated. Why bees are following me? But it was a nice sound. And Krishna is telling Balaram, see, even the bees are following you. They are offering obeisances to you. They are mesmerized by your beauty. They want to serve you. So there also many things are mentioned. So the first thing is the first instruction is we have to somehow or the other use these senses, the ear, the Jnanendriya, especially the ears, the touch, the nose, the smell. So all these various eyes, the tongue, as much as possible in trying to please spiritual master and devotees and the Supreme Lord. By pleasing the devotees, advanced devotees and spiritual master, we will please Krishna, because directly we don't know what pleases Krishna, but we definitely know if it pleases spiritual masters, Prabhupada and devotees, then definitely Krishna is pleased, because Shastra is telling Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado yasya aprasadat nagati kutobi. And there is a book Bhagavata and person Bhagavata. So book Bhagavata is Srimad Bhagavatam, not different from Krishna. And person Bhagavata is like Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, now the pure devotees of the Lord. So by serving them, automatically we will please Krishna. So as again and again, Krishna also says, I am controlled by the devotees. Those who are serving my devotees, then they are the dearmost to me. So that's why we have to, in this way, we have to use these senses in serving Krishna. So it is mentioned, bees are following Lord Balaram, Anaga, one who increases stimulation for Lord Balaram by their humming sound, beautiful, sweet sounds, not disturbing. So even every one of the elements, every one of the living entity in forest is trying to give pleasure to Krishna and Balaram in this way. Because they think, we have done sinful activities in the past life, that's why we are appearing in these trees, as a bees, as animals in this Vrindavan. So please let me, we have been given at least be in the Vrindavan. So since Krishna and Balaram walking in, so let me serve you. Let me try to give pleasure to you. Prabhupada is telling in the purports. In this way, we also have to try to understand that and then try to serve Krishna in this way. Then where Krishna and Balaram, they are doing all like a human, like ordinary human, how we do. So here it is mentioned that Krishna and Balaram started, especially Krishna and Balaram also. He started, see this peacock, he doesn't know how to dance. Then he started dancing like a peacock. much better than obviously Krishna. Nobody can beat Krishna in dancing. He's Rasaraj, Rasova is all the rasas he has. He is expert in all the knowledge and all the arts. So he was started dancing to teach that peacock, and then he started making the sounds of different birds. He started fleeing, running like sometimes the deers and different small animals run away when the lion, the tiger comes. So the same way, so the Krishna and Balaram are doing all these, giving pleasure to their friends. Just like ordinary, we also sometimes we might have done it. We have seen it in childhood. We do also mocking teachers or mocking friends, talking in the same way how they talk, or the different animals or different sounds. Same way here, Krishna and Balaram, just like ordinary, appears like ordinary human being. Krishna played, giving pleasure to all the cowherd friends. Balaram also did that same way. So both were walking in this way throughout this, through that area where these tall fruits are there near the palm trees, where ripened fruits are there. So where this demon is situated, demon and his whole family. So that's where slowly they are walking in. All these beautiful mentioned there. It is also mentioned later on, as the verses are going by. I am not covering in great detail because of time. It is mentioned that Krishna started, Lord Krishna, glorifying Lord Balaram in this specific verse. Because one interesting is this Dhenukasur, it seems, was a previously is a son of a Bali Maharaj. Some name Sahasikar something name Bali Maharaj son. So then he thought, I cannot kill, because Krishna has given the promise. He cannot kill anyone in the family, especially the 14th generation or 21 generation in the family of Prahlad Maharaj. So because Bali Maharaj is in the same dynasty, and then further is son of Bali Maharaj means again same dynasty. So then Krishna said, okay, let Balaram take care of this. So that's why Balaram killed Dhenukasur. This is the son of Bali Maharaj also. From the previous past time, it is mentioned in one of the Purana. So there, then here Lord Krishna started serving Lord Balaram. Throughout this pastime, we will see that Lord Krishna started glorifying Balaram. Everybody is praising, everybody is trying to offer you obeisances. And then he started massaging the feet of Lord Balaram, and he started bringing water to Balaram. So he is trying to serve Balaram. So in this way, we can see Lord Krishna himself is showing by his own example that how to serve devotee, how to serve elders, how to serve devotees, how by serving others, then we can please them. By pleasing them, automatically Lord will be pleased, spiritual master will be pleased by serving the devotees. So in this way we can understand from Krishna's and Balaram's pastimes, by fanning him and by bringing water to drink and massaging the feet. There, that also not only Krishna did, even the cowherd boys also did. All the cowherd boys, what they did, it is mentioned. We also sometimes we do arati at home. Even those who are not initiated, also sometimes they may be. Most of many sampradaya devotees, not specific. Many do arati. There it is mentioned cowherd boys were fanning at Krishna and Balaram. It is mentioned specific word used carefully, carefully and expertly, breezing, gentle, cooling breeze. When we are doing the either actail or chamar, idea is not so much to fully too much heavy, too much wind. When it is cold, we are not supposed to use anyway the peacock feather. We use actail. When it is summer, definitely we use peacock feather also. But the idea mainly is, even when sometimes we may have to serve spiritual master or advanced or Maharaj, when it is too hot, we use something, whatever we have, the fan or the something, so to serve. So the idea mainly is carefully we have to do. We shouldn't touch the spiritual master, that Maharaj or Sannyasi or the Supreme Lord. We should be little distance, carefully, expertly. In that way, it gives pleasure. The main thing is, by any service what we do, it has to give pleasure to the devotee, pleasure to the Supreme Lord. That is the main context we have to put. That is the main thought we have to have before we do any service. If it is going to bring disturbance, or if it is not going to make them happy, then no point in us doing service just for the name's sake, for the matter of it. Like we are putting bhoga, so many wonderful items, many items we cook and offer, but the actual devotion is not there actually. So first we have to understand, that's why. Prabhupada used to like samosa, kachori and many other things, idli, sambar, many things. Then by knowing, then we, whenever it can happen, at least we should have a desire, okay, let me serve, let me try to. Prabhupada appearance day is coming, Nandotsav and appearance day is same August 13th, Wednesday. After Janmashtami is August 12th. Prabhupada appearance day is Vyas Puja day of Prabhupada is August 13th. So these are the days when first we have to understand what they like, they like everything, whatever is offered to Krishna. But there are specific, everything is a taste, right? So there's a variety. So Prabhupada used to like samosa, kachori from childhood. There are many other hot puri, puffed up puri. Sometimes when no food, nothing was available. After going so much preaching, sometimes in the kitchen, when he came back, nothing was left. Especially in the beginning days. Then Prabhupada used to take just puri, hot puri and milk. That's it, nothing. And Prabhupada is not so much angry or anything. Why nothing is there? Sometimes he is satisfied even just a little bit. Or sometimes poha. This is an example. This is also telling us we should eat light food in the evening. We should try to take milk and this chivda or poha. In that way, so when we take, especially on the Ekadasi days, also this is the thing. A Janmashtami day also same thing. Fasting till midnight. After fasting whole day, if you take any grains, first of all, it gives agitation. It doesn't digest. All these things are there, unhealthy. And then on top of it, spiritually, it's not good, because when you take grains at that point, at that late, anything very late, then it brings agitation. Then we cannot control. So that's why it is better to continue the Ekadasi until next day we take non-Ekadasi in that way. But anyway, Janmashtami fasting till midnight, we take Ekadasi prasad. Next day again till 12 o'clock fasting till noon, because of Prabhupada's appearance day. So that's why we cannot take even non-Ekadasi anyway till the next day afternoon. After 12 o'clock we can take the non-Ekadasi grains. But sometimes the devotees may take in general any Ekadasi or any other main. I think most of the days only half fasting till 12 o'clock noon, like spiritual masters, Lord Balaram's appearance day. Or the Lord Nityananda, but Gaura Purnima is evening till evening. So in those days, after evening, we shouldn't take again non-Ekadasi prasad. Narsingha Chaiturdasi also same thing, because it unnecessarily gives agitation. General days also, it is try to avoid eating heavy in the night. Breakfast, lunch you can take as much as possible. As well, breakfast you can take. Or weekends you can try to take in that way, where you can take by 6 o'clock or something. Or you go for a walk. Even if you take heavy, then we should go for a walk. Always exercise should be there. Not so much gym, but Prabhupada emphasized walking. Walking when the sun is rising. Vitamin D will get more enlightenment, because the mode of goodness, especially before 8 o'clock Brahma Muhurta, you're chanting or you're hearing class or something, putting ear plug and then walking. So this always helps. By following the footsteps of Acharyas, how they did, then it helps us to actually to be regulated in our activities. Then here cohort boys, they are serving carefully, gently, expertly, fanning the Lord Krishna and Balaram. So same thing we have to do also when we are trying to serve in the temple or at home doing arati. Then we should also in that same way. Let me flower. I can do any flower I buy, but the flower has a natural smell to it. Otherwise, it has no meaning actually. As much as possible, because it's not possible obviously in US many times. You will not get so much flower with scent. Then you put the artificial scent. But as much as possible, try to grow some flowers at home. And when you grow also plant, many times I see devotees or the other people also. So much flowers you see in front of the house. Tulsi plant is there. They don't want to offer. The Tulsi Maharani is there to offer to Krishna every day. She is pleased with that only. Same way the flower, the most benefit we are giving to that flower, whether it's a rose or any other, jasmine or anything, by offering to Lord Krishna, our Guru, a spiritual master, Balaram or any personality, then it is giving, actually they go back to Godhead. The plant will at least get human birth or go back to Godhead. It is pretty soon they will go back to Godhead. They may get immediately first human birth, then they may go back. But so see that how much transformation. So that's why it is very important that at least if you want to keep some flowers for the plant, it's fine to look nice or something. But the idea is not to look nice. What you will do with the look nice? How many years or how many days you are going to keep that nice thing? You cannot keep. So by instead, rather that when it is offered, that is the most nice. It is the most transcendental. So that's why Prabhupada likes roses, especially. And our service must be taken in this way. When you hear general instruction, the instruction is for us to take it. How to please Prabhupada? This is one instruction is there. By simply offering everyday rose, we can please Prabhupada. So like that, many instructions are general instructions. So we shouldn't wait, oh, I have not been instructed to do, I didn't receive any instruction. No, but when you read Prabhupada books, when you hear Prabhupada memories, then you hear all the general instructions. Prabhupada likes this, you can offer with love and affection. That relation, like my grandfather, Prabhupada's grandfather. He loved always his kids, all of his disciples, even disciple grandchildren. He used to give notes, used to give dollar bills also. What is in LA? Sruta Kirti Prabhu was telling. One time Prabhupada taken out $20 bill or something and gave it to his Sruta Kirti Prabhu's son. See, it's how much, just like we also do sometimes with our close friends or something when we go from US to India, then we try to give. If they ask for something, you have a dollar bill. Like they are our close relatives, kids, small kids. So this is a natural, that loving and compassion. When we walk also, when we go to office, we should say good morning. We should always try to be cordial, be pleasant with every living entity. So this way brings actual natural love and affection for the Supreme Lord. That's why devotion service brings that natural affection for others. Otherwise, materially, most of the people are not in that mood at all. So these are the lessons we can learn from cohort boys. The main thing is the killing of the demon Dhenukasura quickly. Already time is up. So the Dhenukasura means Dhenu means ass demon. What it is giving is it is removing our Swarupa Vibrama. That means our identity, our original identity. We are thinking we are this body. We are thinking I am American or Indian or engineer or doctor or whatever designation we may have. Father, mother, son. All these designations are alright. But actual original designation is I am servant of Krishna. I am son and daughter of Krishna. Part and parcel of Krishna. Again and again, throughout the Shastra, it is clearly been told. Again and again. We are not this body. All these designations only is temporary. This life. Past life, who was your father? Who was your mother? Are you engineer? Are you a doctor? Do you know? No, we don't know. Next life, do you know what we are going to become? We don't know. Since it is temporary. But what we know from the Shastra, our original position is servant of part and parcel of Krishna. So that's why when we keep that in the center, so that's what Dhenukasura is representing. As Krishna and Balaram walked in, then Lord Balaram went there along with Krishna. Now Lord Balaram is leading. And so they came to this Talavan forest in the Vrindavan, and they came to this tree, palm trees. Many of them are there. And then they came to the lot of fruits are there. All ripened fruits. So much smell is coming. Then they started, Balaram caught hold of the tree and then started shaking. You know how much Balaram's strength is holding all the universes. You can imagine how much strength he has. Then he started shaking. Then the whole, almost like all the trees and the whole earth is shaking like that. Then the ass demon, the Dhenukasura started waking up. Who is this? Who has come and who has started shaking and who is trying to take away my fruits? So that demon, the Dhenukasura, is representing the ignorance of the fact that we are this body, we are this designation, we are identifying with this body and the external extension of the body in terms of the community, family, and so many other things, but not in relation with Krishna. Not what is our original eternal position. What is our eternal position, which is constant every life, which is servant of Krishna, part and parcel of Krishna, son and daughter of Krishna, however we look at it, it's the same thing. So that is the main thing. It is called Swarupa Vibrama. Swarupa means our original Swarupa is spiritual. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Full of eternality, full of knowledge, full of happiness. That's why nobody wants to die. Nobody wants any difficulty. Nobody likes COVID or any of these situations. Why? Because the original quality of the soul is happiness. No distress at all. That's why. But in order to come to that position, then we have to remove that, our first of all theoretical understanding, philosophical understanding that we are not this body. Actually, our original position is spiritual form, and it has a relation with Krishna, as Sakya or Dasya or Vatsalya or all. So these Dhenukasura is representing that kind of ignorance, because Dhenuka means as is ignorance and foolish. And then here he thought not only doing that, what it is doing, Dhenukasur, it is not allowing, first of all, it is ignorant of that fact. He thought this belongs to me. So Dhenukasur not allowing anyone to come, birds or animals. Nobody was able to enjoy that fruit, take the fruits from that tall palm tree and tall fruit. Then not only that, then Dhenukasur representing also, it is not allowing anybody to grab it. Not only him, not only one person, but anybody. That means it's also neither we allow ourselves to understand the spiritual subject, nor we allow others in our family or in our community. We tell, okay, that this process is just brainwash, or this process is a cult, this is that, this is that. First of all, we don't have the understanding what is permanent, what is temporary. We don't even try to understand. We have some theory. We made up our own idea. Then we think that they should be this is the correct. And then he will try to tell everybody else also, no, don't take up this. No, this is not good. This is not good. Just let them decide. First of all, read and understand, hear, or try a month or 2 months. Then you come to a conclusion. But without even trying, without even understanding what Shastra is telling, what Gita is telling, how this whole material creation has happened, how we are here in this material world, what we are going through, why we are going through. If we don't have that philosophical understanding, then it becomes a chaos. So it is not good. It shouldn't be either sentiment, it shouldn't be, means we follow rules and regulations without knowing, understanding the essence behind it. At the same time, we should also know the philosophy, and we should also know the regulations and devotion behind it. Both things we need to know. So philosophy should be known, and also actual rasas, relationship, rules and regulations, both should be known. Otherwise, it could be sentimentalism, or it could create disturbance. So both ways it is not. So both has to be mixed. Both has to be there. That's why it is mentioned in this. Dhenukasur is giving these two lessons. Then Lord Balaram, through that, immediately as soon as he shaked the tree, all fruits started falling. Then Dhenukasur came out and then started fighting, started hitting. It hit Balaram on the chest. For Balaram, it doesn't matter much, because Balaram is strong. Then he caught hold of those two legs of that Dhenukasur, and then round and round, and threw it on the top of the tree. Then it broke. Not only first of all, Dhenukasur died, and then when it put the top of the tree, revolved on top of the tree, all the tall fruits, so many plants, it's like a chain reaction. One plant fell, and then other plants, by that, because it's huge trees, and this demon is not small, huge, expanded like a huge demon. Then all the plants, all this tall fruit palm trees fell, so many of them. All the fruits fell down. And then all other demons also started coming, his friends, Dhenukasur family. Then again Balaram caught hold of those two legs of the as demon, then threw it, all of them. Then every one of them got killed, and then the whole forest, that Talavan, especially that area, became full of trees. All the trees fell down like a chain reaction. So that means by one kick of Lord Balaram, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, all the anarthas can be removed. Whatever disturbances, whatever difficulties we have in our heart, in our path, in our desires, material desires, all this can be purified and kicked out, like how this by chain reaction, by just one kick, by the all the plants, all the fruits fell down, because that's what these cowherd boys wanted. Not so much just to, first of all, so that all the birds, animals, everybody can taste these fruits, because the demon is not allowing anybody to take up. Like the people doesn't allow anybody. They don't follow spirituality or transcendence, and they don't allow anybody else. Sometimes parents themselves instruct their family members, their own kids. Hey, this is too young. You have just got married. You are only 20. You are only 30. You shouldn't take up this process. So this is obviously we have, as parents, even if they instruct, we have to have a good relation. We should serve parents. We should serve elders. That's always Shastra is guiding. We can see from Krishna and Balaram also, and others in the examples throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. We see that we should always serve parents, even if they are positive or negative. whatever way they are instructing. We don't do anything, we hear and we leave it. We shouldn't talk back to them. We should take their guidance always. When we displease parents, especially if they are if they are telling good things, and we even if they tell something, we shouldn't display, especially we shouldn't contract, even with the parents or our elders, superiors, Vaishnavas. We shouldn't, especially if it is seniors, especially, and spiritual master, or advanced devotees, sadhus, sannyasis. Sometimes they may get angry, they may speak a little bit harshly. It is to get corrected ourselves, corrected. That they may speak, to learn lesson, but we shouldn't get agitated. Same thing with the parents. Also, it is better to stay calm, say nothing, and end the call or something, and you can talk later when you are peaceful or something. But we shouldn't talk back. We shouldn't, because when they cry, when the parents cry, when the parents are displeased, when they are too much frustrated with our thought process, with our thinking, with our actions, then the mercy doesn't flow. Krishna doesn't like it. So that's why it is very important. We should at never point, because they are the Shiksha Guru. Originally, they are the ones who has given birth to us. So it is very important to understand Krishna consciousness is not just our devotees, our only devotional circle. It is also the parents, as much as possible as we learn, because it's not a one day thing, it's a gradual progress. We learn the lessons and we try to implement that. So by in serving parents, in serving friends, serving our community, whoever we meet, we try to pleasantly put it, if they like it. If they are comfortable, if they are favorable, then we present it, we give them prasadam, we give them the books, we tell them about the classes, various things about Krishna consciousness. They are not favorable, then nothing much we can do. Only we can do is we pray for them. Or we have to see who they have a faith in. Then we have to ask them to tell them, so that way they can listen. Because it is not always direct connection will help. Sometimes indirect connections may help. So sometimes spiritual master also directly will not instruct. Prabhupada also has done that. So many times Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj used to instruct others, do this, do that, or get this service done, many things. So because Prabhupada, how many times Prabhupada can talk to his disciples? Obviously Prabhupada tried his best with writing letter responses to every devotee as much as possible. All the devotees, even that also later on, somebody used to read, open, and then Prabhupada used to type the response, or they used to, after a few years of experience, they used to write the response, and then they used to check with Prabhupada, is this all right? You want to add or correct? Then that way, because otherwise it's not possible for one person to take care of these things. So in that same way, so we also have to have that kind of love and affection and compassion and understanding of the facts, and then approaching in that way. So that way it helps to distribute, it helps to progress in our Krishna consciousness with our natural and loving dealings. So with that we'll stop here. Lord Balaram ki jai, Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta ki jai. Any quick questions? I have to run, already late.